Hey guys, welcome back to Micho Makes. My name is Micho. I like to make stuff. Today we've got part number 40 of the Toyota Sprinter Trueno AE86 by DeAgostini. This is the massive model that we're building together that's 1/8 scale and a lot of metal, a lot of articulation. Really looking forward to this one. Let's get into it. Alright, starting off we've got our cover. No frames this time, looks like we got a box. Got our parts here. I'll take a look at this in just a second. Alright, let's take a look at the magazine. So I did a little bit of Google Translate in here, and this actually is kind of new of what they were doing initially too, as well, in regards to rivals and comparisons and actually driver reviews. This is actually kind of an explanation of why FR, so front engine rear tires were a kind of a good thing for this vehicle in particular, and the fact that it's well balanced with the engine in front, the heavy engine in front, and then the rear wheels in the back, or the rear wheel drive in the back, allowed it to have a better grip and or drift platform. You can read that too if you'd like to. Pause the video and Google Translate that. So it's nice and focused for you. And then obviously the engine, the 4AG in there, really helps that too as well. Taking a look at some of these photos is just amazingly focused, and make sure that this is all nice and legible for you. Like some of these photos, like of this rear end and how clean it looks. I mean, these look like one of those cars that were just never driven. But this really kind of goes in the explanation of why, I guess different grip profiles and how the whole FR system works in conjunction to really make the vehicle balanced. Obviously the T50 transmission, 5-speed manual transmission, and how you can see the drive shaft running down here, and how really this is a very, very iconic car because it's very balanced too as well. That's the kind of one thing people don't realize is some vehicles, when they are imbalanced, you'll have front heavy FF cars, so front engine, front drive cars, where you have a pretty rear end has its own problems. Vehicles with mid-engine cars and only the steering in front have their own problems, tend to oversteer because there's no weight back there. But some people feel very strongly, especially if you have a 4-wheel drive system too. There's benefits to all of them. So it's a pretty interesting conundrum, and it really does boil down to driver preference more than anything else. Like, what do you like to command as a driver? Do you like having all grip, or do you like kind of have it break loose a little bit in a rear wheel drive vehicle, or a front wheel drive where you have a lot more, I wouldn't say control is the right word, but just you have a more predictability, I guess, in that too as well. So it's just kind of interesting to see how they're going about and explaining this in the magazine. After the magazine, we jump right into the part. So I could take a peek right here, and you can see what we're going to be working on today, which is the driver side, or I'm sorry, that's not driver side. In Japan, it's the passenger side, but passenger side interior fender. Looks like we're cutting a few hoses, installing some brackets too as well, and getting some stuff installed. Oh, this is actually a pretty long part too. It looks like we're going to be installing the disc brakes too. And then, yeah. Oh, it looks like we're mounting some tires. Oh, wow. Okay. Huge part then. We're actually mounting the tires. We're going to have a rolling chassis after this part. So, yeah, this is going to be a lot longer than I thought it would be. So, cool. Let's get started and start building. We'll take a look at the parts first. All right. The star of the show for this part is the front inside fender. Now this is technically in America the driver's side, but in Japan this is the passenger side. Take a look at the detail. This is all metal too. Really nice. Got some thicker hose here. Now this is actually pretty stiff compared to what we've had before. And more thin hose. Got a bracket connection which we used last time. Looks like we got a metal hose here. This is not metal, but it's plastic that made it look like metal. Another connector here. Got the top hat for the strut assembly here. And we've got some AJM screws, CM screws, and AGM screws. All right, we've got a long part. Let's get started. Okay, first things first, we're taking this thinner hose and we're going to be cutting it down to 130 millimeters. So let me get a different X-Acto knife. Taking this here, just like this, laying it out like that. 130 millimeters. This looks pretty good. Oh, actually, let's double check and make sure we're good. There. All right, that's that piece. I'll put this one off to the side so we don't get that mixed in. Then we're going to take this other hose, excuse me, and we're going to move this to 50 millimeters. So we got it here. Set right there. 50 millimeters right there. Almost got it. Got it. All right, 50 millimeters. Perfect. All right, we're actually taking this part here that we had another issue. We're actually going to be inserting it right here on the bracket here. And the L goes upside down, and we're going to be taking some AGM screws and attaching this to the panel itself. Okay, it's all done. All right, next we're going to be taking the piece that was actually in the book there, and it looks like we're inserting it right here on this panel. So there's a little notch there and a little keyway there, so just kind of drop it in just like that. And we're going to use AGM as well. I like to just get in thread started a little bit so that when it comes down to making sure that nothing's kind of off kilter, I'll just finish it up that way too as well. Okay, those two brackets in, we got to get the chassis. All right, with that in place, we take this bracket here, and we're actually going to be aligning it. I want to make sure, number one, I don't pinch the wire, so I'm just going to fold that underneath. There are 3 holes here, and also the strut tower hole right there that we want to be kind of aware of. And you can see that there is a keyway in that, just to make sure we got everything aligned right. So with the holes here, we're going to be just kind of inserting it this way around that. Get it, make sure it lines up on these ones too. And then also make sure that this is aligned to the strut tower. looks pretty good right there, and it looks aligned in the strut tower too. So we're going to be taking some CM screws that we were given. And they're going to be going actually from the top down and also the back side too. So let's start with the back side. And then we'll do one over here, just so that gets locked in place too. There are 3 we need to do down here. Might have grabbed the wrong screw actually. Whoops. Alright. Now you can kind of tell from the top down that we are aligned there. Let's see, make sure you can see that. Nice and aligned. We're going to take an AJM screw, which kind of looks like that. It's kind of more of a flat head. And it goes right on top to lock in the strut tower. Okay, it's all locked in. Then we take the cover for strut tower, just place it on top. All right, let's take a look at this thing. The step is complete. Okay, the next part, actually, I think I screwed up. I actually don't think I was supposed to cut this hose down to 50 millimeters. I think it was the other one. You had to do 130 and then a 50 after that. But it's okay. We'll figure it out. So we take actually those 2 small pieces and we actually attach one end of the silver end right here, and then we take this other end and we stick it right here on this end. And I believe this is a high pressure air conditioning hose, but it's going to go right here. I don't know if you can see that or not. Right here. It's going to go into the firewall and in the back of the engine too as well. Just kind of inserted right here and then right inside there. And this does look a little bit short. We'll figure it out. I mean, they usually give us a ton of hose too. This should be probably coming up to about here about. So obviously I cut off some. If I need to, I can even just tape this hose back on. I might even just do that real quick. You know, there's a lot of ways you can kind of flub this to make it look good. So you basically would take this out. We'll take a little piece of maybe even extra hose and like shove it in this side, shove it in this side here. This is a little cutoff we had, and that should be. Oh, actually no, this is extra hose. This is the hose I cut actually. So maybe we even just take this piece here. We throw this through here. Here's a cutoff that I had actually made. We'll put the end on this side. Put that on there, and we can put these together as the original hose length, and then just slide both of these together just like that. And look, hey, look, it's repaired. Look at that. You know, those small things like that you can kind of flub. It doesn't matter. It's your bottle. You know, do what you want with it. But I think that looks fine. And I think I just had that extra piece here just lying. So, yeah, that's great. The next part we're actually going to be doing is we're going to be taking actually the engine. So we'll put this over to the side a little bit. We're taking the engine itself right here, and we're taking this longer hose, and we are attaching it. Sorry, I'm referring to the referring to the diagram so I don't miss anything. It looks like it goes under the tibus here. This little connection point. This is going to be a 50 millimeter length, though. So I actually might cut one real quick because I do have a couple extra hoses here. Let me grab my ruler. I believe this one's 130 millimeters on the money. And so we'll just cut this one down to 50 real quick. Do that really quick. Okay, 50 millimeter. And this goes right on the bottom of the tibus right here. Gosh, these hoses are it's so detailed, but it's really hard to work with sometimes because you want to get them on to look nice, but it's very, very tight fit. And that one just kind of lies right there. We're good. And then this other one, this 130 millimeter one, actually goes off of the windshield washer motor. So it goes right here. Right here. So funny, just like sometimes you just have to mod it so that it actually functions. And I've had to use these tweezers multiple times to open this up just a little bit to get these hoses on, just because they're such a tight fit. That's okay. I mean that really shows you how detailed this is. But I also do think sometimes it's like, hey guys, let's do this before, like, and put this hose on before we put it on the vehicle, rather than trying to like really kind of jimmy my way in here with no real grip. Yeah, that's almost impossible because it's just such a tight fit. And I'm really lucky to have these tweezers that fit it pretty good. Open up just a little bit, and the vinyl tubing should shrink down just a little bit on the stud. Sorry if my hand's in the way, I just can't really see what I'm doing. And the worst thing is that when you're trying to get these hoses on, you're trying not to bust off the piece or have to reconnect that piece too. There it is. That's good enough. Okay, cool. Windshield wiper motor hose, and that will probably go on the other nozzle, one nozzle here, one nozzle there, or something, to the sprayers in the hood when that happens. All right, moving on, and probably one of the bigger parts. We're turning it into a rolling chassis. All right, guys, we've been holding on these parts for quite a while now, so let me just break it down what we have. We have the 4 tires, obviously with the new tread that we've been having to go through parts doing those. We've got the front and rear discs, as well as these spacers that we've been kind of sitting on for a while. They come in every tire, and we have the VM screws. I have 4 here. I found another bag with VM. They look exactly the same, which is great. So yeah, we've got the parts that we're going to need to get this thing into a rolling chassis. So let me get prepped and get it set and really kind of look at the instructions really well so that I do not screw this up. Give me a second. Okay, first things first, we're going to move all the stuff out the way, and we're going to flip it on its side. So we'll start with this side on here. Over here, I'll get the camera positioned so you guys can see everything. We're going to start on this one right here. And the big thing is to remember is, not really remember, but just to let you know that there is no difference between any of the tires, so they're all the same, which is good. This is the front disc here, and we're going to be inserting it onto the caliper here, so you actually put it in this direction here. And they said it doesn't matter if it is loose, so just get it in there. You just double check and make sure. Oh yeah, so this little notch here, if you can kind of just line there, it actually aligns with this notch here on the tire itself. So you can see it right there. Yeah, that little notch will align with the disc right there. And then from there, there is a screw hole here as well as there. All right, so once we are in this position, we just get this notch aligned with the disc there. This is the orientation. I want to make sure that I get this aligned correctly. That looks good right there. So the wheel should spin freely. Okay, so after we get it aligned with the disc and I can verify it's moving together, we take one of these black washers here, place it right inside of there, because this is going to be the barrier between the screw and the tire. Just kind of help it move a little bit more freely. Take our VM screw. Hook it around to make sure that it gets aligned right. Sorry if it's difficult to see. It's actually difficult for me to see, so I am just doing my best to make sure that I don't cross thread anything. It doesn't want to seem to align right super well, so I'm going to do my best with only two hands. Make sure I'm actually aligned properly, because the screw doesn't want to seem to go in. Okay, that looks okay on this side right here. Just double check inside here. Okay, so I'm going to place the washer and the screw together first and see. Yeah, it feels aligned now, so I just need to torque it down a little bit more so it stays put. Still a little loose. I'm going to tighten that down just a little bit. It should still move freely. Yeah, much better. Oh yeah. Moves freely. Good. All right. That's the front. Let's flip it over and we'll do the other front side. First things first, let's get the rotor on. Again, it doesn't really matter, I said, which orientation it is, because it's going to get aligned on the rim. Just insert it here. Looks good. Get another plastic washer, the VM screw together. Oops, just dropped in this time. Sorry, it's kind of hard to get leverage. I'm shaking the camera. Not meaning to. Maybe a little too tight. It doesn't spin super freely. There we go. Much better. Nice. We're set. Look at that. Oh my gosh. I'll show you guys in just a second. We're going to do the back side. We'll do this back side first. So same thing here. Obviously, it's a little bit different. Brake disc gets inserted just like that. Get aligned with the rim. There it is. We'll take a plastic disc washer, insert it, get a VM screw. Maybe I'll loosen that out just a little bit. Much better. I don't want it super loose. It's going to pop off, but just enough that it spins more freely than that. Oh yeah, much better. Okay, cool. All right, flip it over. Last one. And aligned just like that. I want to be able to see the notch, which I have here too as well. There it is. That's on the caliper. Get the washer. And one more VM screw. All right. Washer it goes. It's usually the last one that's the easiest. Look at that. And we have all 4 done. So, might be a little hard to see on my desk, but I have a rolling chassis. Just in frame for you. I have a rolling chassis. And the engine chilling. Always happens like that. Luckily for me, it was just a heat shield. So I'll just put that back on real quick. Super funny. So you see how the engine is going to sit in here with the transmission. Awesome. With a rolling chassis, that is a massive step. Part number 40. Look at that. You can see the wheels here. This thing is so huge. Oh my god. I can't even get it in a frame. I'm going to do my best, but I can't. Actually, maybe I'll move this out the way so you can actually move back here. Get this out of the way. Look at that. Look at that. 40 parts, and we're at this level right now. Just as a reminder, we inserted the front bracket here. We also lost our little hose here. I will again figure out a way to get this reattached because I think I did cut it off accidentally. Maybe just a little glue. We also put hoses on the side here on the engine. A few things. We actually had the wiper hose here too as well. And then the massive part of getting a rolling chassis. This is so much progress of what we've actually been doing and building up and taking entire parts to make these stinking tires, you know. No fun, some of those, but look at where we're at now. This is so cool. Just the underside of all the workings. The engine bay is working. The engine is almost ready to go in eventually, but we are rocking and rolling on part number 40. But I want to thank you again for joining me today at building this crazy, massive model. And again, let's take a peek at a Hot Wheels. This is the Hot Wheels AE86. I mean, that right there should be an indication of how gigantic. Grab a Hot Wheels of your own, if you have one, and an indication of what we're dealing with. I mean, the engine itself, compared to a Hot Wheels, the engine is as long as a Hot Wheels. It's ridiculous. I love this thing so much. There's so much detail. I'm so glad I'm building this with you guys. But that's part number 40 of the Toyota Sprinter Trueno AE86 by DeAgostini. Let's take a look and see what we have on the next one. Looks like we have more hoses. It looks like can't really tell what exactly that is, but it looks like it's maybe part of the exhaust. Yeah. Anyway, look forward to that one. If you haven't subscribed already, please. It helps the channel grow. That'd be awesome. But also, if you give a like, that's great too. Thanks very much for joining me today. My name is Micho Makes. We'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.